Alright, hi everybody, it's Bonkai922. It is time for Akame ka Kiru chapter. What chapter was this? 42? Yo, this chapter. I have no word for this chapter. This chapter was like, what the? This was chapter 42, Kill the Despair. This chapter was fucking ridiculous. I mean, there's nothing else I can say about this chapter. Pretty much what went down in this chapter was just like, yo, General, all I have to say is this, General esdese. General esdese. For one moment in this chapter, DIO Brando was present. You'll understand when I get into the summary. Okay, basically we got the beginning part of this chapter. More or less what ends on happening is Tatsumi's fighting off, well, Tatsumi's in the armor, is facing off esdese. And, you know, Tatsumi's saying that she doesn't have the slightest opening. Where do I even begin attacking? It's difficult for me to attack. A part of me doesn't want to attack. And then we see esdese saying there are plenty of openings, though. This is a first. Just who is that? And we see Najina. She's on the ground. And it says, most beautiful, most powerful. Kill the despair. This is actually kind of funny because, like, a couple of days ago, the freaking prequel came out. And I read that and I reviewed that. And now this comes out. It's like, you know, pretty crazy. Rest of the chapter we got Rabak and Akame and Min against Wave. This was pretty crazy because Wave was dominating. Oh my god, him too. Both esdese and Wave were just dominating their fights. Now, at one point, they do get the upper hand on Wave. He going in with the attacks and everything and so on and so forth. He hits Rabak. He then blocks, you know, Akame's sword blade, goes after her, hits her. He's taking out 3 people because Min's like looking at him and saying this enemy is keeping an eye out for a shot from me too. You know, he's just like, and we see Akame is hurt and everything. And Wave saying to her, like, are you just going to keep running away? Then I'll come to you. And then, boom! Rabak grabs Wave. And I'm like, yo, Rabak. He stopped him. But then before he stopped him, he spit up blood. And I was like, oh no, here we go. Death flag has been triggered, people. Well, essentially, he doesn't. Essentially, Rabak here, he doesn't really die. He coughs up blood. He stops Wave for a moment to give Akame and Min the opportunity to leave, to run away, and to go help the others. And saying that, you know, I've bound your body with my threads and so on and so forth and tied you to this tree. And Wave's thinking you know, I can break out of it. And saying he thinks he can break out of it, Wave. And Brock's saying it's my best thread. And he's telling Akame to go on ahead and so on and so forth. And he says stop. And Brock's saying I was finally able to do something useful. And then he spits up blood and falls on the ground. And I'm like, oh crap. Yo, that was like, yo, it's starting. Death flags have been triggered. Now, after that scene, we got this one small thing with this guy, I forgot this guy's name. And they're basically here to monitor the situation. They just have to guard the area they're in, this one guy. His name apparently is Horamaka, Horamaka, Tegu, the mysterious Yadayusa. So he's staying there, basically, he's like the trump card supposedly, and saying that he's gonna get some action and stuff. And then we have Wave again, and he breaks through the others, and he's about to go after Akame, and he's like Grandpa, and then gets shot by Mean. And they start fighting, and Mean goes after him, shoots him a couple of times, he gets blown and away, and shows him off course. And then we have this standoff with this guy that I just told you about. And he's up against Akame and Mean. And he's like saying, I'm going to cut you down with my scythe, and so on and so forth. And they think, yeah, we're going to beat this girl. No, it's already over. No challenge whatsoever. They pretty much make quick work of these goons and move on their merry way. There's really nothing else to say about that part. And he got hit with just a stretch. So, and then after that, they hurry off to the cathedral, and we see that Najinda seems enamored by the situation. Najinda realizes she's so pathetic. Just like everyone's been taken out. It's like, listen. I truly believe esdese. This bitch is freaking ridiculous. I'm like, she's too powerful. She's too powerful, especially what she did in this chapter. So obviously, CC's edese's really, Jinda's very honored by this, and she decides to use her trump card, which is Magna Tama Manifestation. It's her trump card. And she then tells, it's not, by the way, it's not, it's Susanoo. Susanoo. That's how I think they believe they say it. And he comes out of the ice block, Susanoo, to go and attack Bork. Now, it seems like this is going to work now, because you used the trump card. And we see Tatsumi also going in to go after and against the esdese with Susanoo. And then she's saying that this is entertaining esdese and everything, so on and so forth. And she's like saying that won't be enough to defeat me. She kicks the Tatsumi, knocks out Susanoo, and Tatsumi gets hit, but it doesn't hurt him. He's not dead. And then at that moment, holy shit, Mora Kumo. Susanoo brings out this huge sword. I was like, holy shit, this chapter was entirely too crazy for me. So he brings it out, slashes it. It doesn't hurt esdese because she brings out an ice block. And he's obviously going after Bork at this point. Doesn't work though. It doesn't reach them. Apparently, because of, I think it was one of what was her name? Kurume. It was one of Kurume's dolls. She came in and saved her. Susanoo thought he got her, but didn't. And that's basically what happened. And one of her dolls, Natala, got hurt in the process. And then basically esdese is picking off the gloves, and she says, I won't just capture you anymore. I'll pulverize you to the core. And then he brings out Susanoo this thing called Yata no Kagami, which is, I believe, 8-span mirror. And she sees an opening, supposedly, or he sees an opening, goes after Bork. He says, I got him. I'm like, yeah, he's going to get him. This is it. Then she says, everything freezes before me. And I'm like, what's going on? And I'm like, Mahapadma, which I have no idea what it means, but she pulled up Dio Brando. And esdese froze time and space. Oh, God. That's what I meant when I said, Dio Brando. Oh, God. And she basically just goes over there and stabs him. I'm like, are you serious? And then she says, this trump card was developed to never let Tatsumi run away again and defeat any opponent without fail. So, you're telling me she originally made this technique for Tatsumi? Yeah, that blew my mind away. I was like, no, this is... Of course, this chapter gets 5 out of 5. So basically, she just goes over there and stabs him. But the problem with this technique, though, is that she announces it. She says that I can only use it once a day. She can only use it once a day. So she uses it, kills Susanoo, and that was it. I was like, yo, this, and she destroys it, and she says, is the name of an icy hell and a religion. Suits it perfectly. And Nijin tells her, get out of there, but he can't. He gets attacked, turned to ice, turned into pieces. And then Susanoo's core comes out, and of course she breaks it. Esdese. And and she's basically saying to her, you never cease to amuse me, Najinda. It saddens me to eliminate an enemy that can stand up to me, but I can't allow you to escape. Now you've become the leader of Night Raid. And then she's saying that it doesn't look like she has the power to regenerate. Esdese saying that, so this is how it ends. Najinda says that. No one can fight. There's nobody left. There's nobody left. I'm like, this bitch. That was crazy, man. And then she says, I think last thing she says, Esdese, now let me show you the way to the torture chamber. And it says hopeless. And here's the thing. Now, Akame, and then that was pretty much the chapter. Akame and Min are on their way. Esdese doesn't know. That's Tatsumi. She has no idea. To this point, I still say that. She has no idea. That's Tatsumi. She has no clue. Crazy chapter, 5 out of 5, kill to despair. So, these days is too overpowering. Just way too overpowering. Like, god damn, it's ridiculous. The fact that she said, oh, I use this technique to Tatsumi can't get away. That's why you created this technique? Give me a break. Yo, get off. She's too thirsty. Esdese is way too thirsty for Tatsumi. It's like she needs to drink water. Pronto. But overall, this was just despair. Kill the despair? They haven't killed it yet. They haven't killed it yet. This was too much. Too much. God knows what's going to happen now. I have no idea. This was a one-man wrecking crew, pretty much, Esdese, which is the one-man wrecking crew. So, but the thing is, as far as deaths are concerned, really there wasn't really any in here. The only real death was Susanoo, but he's a Tegu. So, can't really count it as a death? Or maybe you can. Because Rabak hasn't been confirmed yet. All we know is that he spit up blood and he fell to the ground. And that was it. But we'll see what happens next month in December. It's like, what's going to happen? What would be interesting is if Min showed up and Akame showed up and they tried to fight esdese, and esdese attempts to kill Min, and Tatsumi loses it and attacks her, esdese, and then she finds out. That would be like, oh shit, it's gonna get crazy now. But yeah, we'll see what happens. But this was a crazy chapter. 5 out of 5. Kill the despair. Look at esdese show for some DIO Brando. Freeze time shit. That had me dying. Way too much for me. Too much for me. So yeah, that's the story, people. Bankai 922. Oh my god, esdese. She's too much. You are too much. You need to. I guess esdese for the motherfucking win. See you guys later. Oh, by the way, before the fall came out, I'll review it. I'll get into that later. I'm Bankai 922. DIO Brando. Sueldo. See ya.